Good morning. Allie Benjamin here, live with Growing Edge, our weekly spiritual tune in and tune up, our weekly live broadcast here on Facebook. I'm so excited to be here today to connect with our tribe, our group, our spiritual community, our virtual community, as well as those of you that are together in Ogden, Utah. Hello and welcome. Blessings to each and every one of you. And take a moment to see who shows up this morning, and I'd love it if you would share in the chat where you're watching from. And Michael and I are here in Hurricane, which is in southern Utah, and he's using my Facebook account, so you'll see him posting from Allison Benjamin. So hello, Michael. Welcome, everyone. So where are you watching from? What is going on in your corner of the playground? Hello, Heather. Heather's watching from Ogden. Good to see you. And we're here in Hurricane, and it was considerably cooler this morning. We had some frost. So we're in the winter months, and it's quite invigorating. As you can see, we're here in our camper van, which is named Om Shanti Home, and we have been traveling around the country for the last several months, since August of last year, and currently we're here in Hurricane, Utah, and in a month or so we're going to be heading to Northern California. So welcome, so happy that you're here. Hi, John. Good to see you, watching from North Ogden. Wonderful. We have quite a tribe of people in the Ogden and the Greater Salt Lake area, known as the Satya community, our beloved community. Welcome. And we have many of you from around the globe. I know we have family members of mine in the UK. There's Rhonda calling in or watching in from Joshua Tree. We were just there a couple of weeks ago, maybe a month ago now, enjoying that amazing beauty. And so welcome to our Growing Edge Live. I'm going to start with our beautiful song by Leslie. So here we go.
Free my mind, open my heart with the whispers of truth, to live a conscious life, to live a conscious life on the growing edge, on the growing edge.
Yeah, here we are on the growing edge. What does that mean? We're always on the edge of our evolution. We're always at the very edge of time and space. And when we have an understanding of that, when we have a deep awareness that we are creating, consciously or unconsciously, our future, and at the growing edge, we get a sense of what's possible. And we know that what we focus on expands, that energy flows where our attention goes. So today we're going to be talking about dreaming, dream together, and unity. So welcome. I'm so glad that you're here. So glad that you're here. And if you have any questions for us, go ahead and put those in the chat and we'll get back to you. If you need support, prayer support, one of our conscious living practitioners will contact you and support you in prayer and meditation. So thank you for being here today. I'm Allie Benjamin, and we are Growing Edge Live, and we've been gathering together as a virtual community as a virtual community here on Facebook since November of 2019, and we've been gathering as a spiritual community in the Ogden area, Ogden, Utah, that is, for 11 years. So if you're joining us and becoming a part of our virtual community here on Facebook, and you're here for the first time, a big hug and welcome to you. I'm so glad that you found us. I don't believe that you found us by chance. I believe that you were meant to be here today, whether it's to to hear something I have to say, or to find a tribe, a place where you can belong or check in periodically, I'm so glad you're here. And for those of you that have been continuing to come back and to be a part of our Growing Edge Live broadcast and our community, love you, and so happy to expand our Growing Edge, to take it a step further on this awakening ascension journey. So thank you for financially supporting us. And if you want to support us financially, you can do so by Venmo at Satya Center, or go to our website, growingedgelive.com. And thank you. So let's begin with a quote. I found this and I thought it was just absolutely perfect for these crazy, chaotic times that we're in. And this is from Charles Dickens' A Tale of Two Cities, written in 1859. And it could have been written yesterday. It was the best of times. It was the worst of times. It was an age of wisdom. It was the age of foolishness. It was the epoch of belief. It was the epoch of incredulity. It was the season of light. It was the season of darkness. It was the spring of hope. It was the winter of despair. Doesn't that just so fit with what we've been experiencing over the last couple of weeks, well, the last period of time? We really are in crazy times. We're in times of great change. And I believe, if you're tuning into today, and if you've been on a spiritual path for some time, that you're well aware that we are the ones that are here to usher in a new era. We are the bridge people, here to bridge the old paradigm and to co-create the new paradigm. And that's what I'm going to be sharing today. Ways that we can come together, unify, and create a better tomorrow, co-create a more beautiful world, the one that our hearts know is possible. So it's time, it's definitely time. It's time right now. It's like stop and surrender to the one power, the one presence. Surrender to this moment and tune into our hearts. It's time to wake up and to be in love with life. It's time to love this planet as never before, and its immense beauty. We're born in heaven. This is heaven. Many of us don't realize this. Many of us don't realize what had to happen in order for each and every one of us to be awake and alive and living in this human body at this particular time. Just think of the evolution that's taken place ever since the Big Bang, and the minute little things that needed to occur in order for us to be alive, for this planet to be able to support life. We live in immense beauty. We live in heaven. This is heaven. And many of us don't have the eyes to see it or the willingness to embrace it. It's time to open our eyes. It's time to open our hearts. And most importantly, it's time to dream together. It's time to love together. It's time to create a beautiful world together. So are you ready for that? If you're ready to really consciously step in and step out as never before, if you're ready to really take ownership of your co-creative abilities, of your ability to use your amazing creative faculty, your mind, in service of a vision. And when we can create a vision, independently and collectively, when we can create a vision, then that vision can pull us into our tomorrows. But if we don't, if we just kind of sit back and go, ho hum, here we are, another day, could be a good one, could be not so good one, and we sort of live just watching and witnessing what's happening without being actively involved, then we're living by default. And I know that if you're watching here today, that you want to live by design. You want to create a world in your thoughts, in your heart, and then allow that to become our collective reality. So let's center in for a moment. Let's take a moment to close the outer eyes and tune within and take that 18-inch journey from that thinking mind, that analytical mind, that judging, organizing mind, very useful mind, and drop down into the heart center, into the mind of the heart. And let's take a deep inhale through the nose, drawing the breath down into the heart, expanding love and appreciation, and exhaling. And again, inhaling love and exhaling love. And do that for a few minutes. For a few breaths, I meant to say. And allow yourself to become centered, present, available, willing, knowing that whatever is seeking to be revealed is done so in crystal clarity. Whatever is seeking to be released, let go of, transcended, is done so with ease and grace and gratitude. And whatever is seeking to be activated, implemented, integrated, actualized into our minds, hearts, and into our everyday lives is done so with such ease, with such a natural flow, with pleasantness, and with grace. Taking another breath. Dropping an anchor line down from your heart to the center of Gaia, Mother Earth, feeling grounded, connected, supplied, supported, nourished. Feel the abundance that has always been available to you, the prosperity of your life blossoming up from this connection, this groundedness, this gratitude for Mother Earth. And then bringing your awareness up into your heart and imagine a golden cord of light going up into the cosmos, up into the infinite realm of possibilities and potentialities, to the God realm. Connecting, opening our intuition, making ourselves available to divine downloads, to having greater vision from our higher perspective, and knowing that we can integrate that, heaven and earth, so to speak, integrated into who and what we really are, right here and right now. Take a breath. And open the eyes. So welcome. I see Carol jumping on. Hello, Carol. So today we're talking about unity. And I've taken the word unity, U-N-I-T-Y, and I've chosen 5 words that can help us understand the importance and the power of dreaming together, of visioning a new and better, more beautiful world together. It's time, isn't it? Isn't it time that we come together and we work together? Because all of us, as a humanity, we have very similar ideals. We have very unique and different ones also, but each of us want to be loved, want to love, and experience love in our everyday lives and find meaning and a sense of belonging in the world. I think you could scan the whole globe, you could travel around the world and interview people and ask them, what's the most important thing to you? And they would eventually, given time to think about it and center themselves in it, would say, I want to experience love. I want to be in a loving relationship or a loving environment. So we all have that in common, and that unifies us. So the first letter of unity stands for understanding. Sympathetically aware of other people's feelings, tolerant and forgiving. These times are calling for understanding. If we're going to dream together, if we're going to come together as a country, as a humanity, we need to have greater understanding and respect for one another. Each of us is different. We have a slightly different spin on things. Each of us have a different level of self-awareness. So we have to be understanding that each of us are on our own path. We're all doing the very best that we can. And when we have this level of understanding, we can, it fosters compassion. It fosters a sense of being patient, being tolerant, So many of you, I'm sure, watched the inauguration and saw that beautiful poet, Amanda Gorman, beautiful young woman. And she shared a poem called The Hill We Climb. And I've taken some excerpts from the poem to underscore and give foundation to this concept of dreaming together and creating a better world, the one our hearts know is possible. So she says in this beautiful poem, The Hill We Climb, and yes, we are far from polished, far from pristine, but that doesn't mean we are striving to form union that is perfect. We are striving to forge a union with purpose. We're striving to form a union with purpose. When we can understand that we're not going to create something that's perfect, because human nature doesn't allow for what the ego structure has deemed perfection. It's a myth. It doesn't exist. We exist in a constant flow of change, sometimes chaotic, sometimes beautiful and graceful. But there's a common purpose. Like I mentioned, there's a common purpose to realize love, to realize peace, to realize freedom. And if we can realize that instead of perfection, there's a common purpose, and when we have an understanding about that, we're more fit and able and aligned and resonating with this idea that we can dream together, that we can come together, very different, unique, but very creative, very powerful. Each of us has something very, very important to bring to this amazing puzzle of life. I don't know if you did this, but over the holidays, our family got together and we worked on a puzzle. It was a puzzle of cats on a bookshelf, and it took us many hours and we still didn't complete it. But there was a sense of purpose. We were going for that ideal, that picture, that bookcase with the cats on it, but we didn't get there. We didn't have time. We only had 3 days together, but we were putting the pieces together. So there was this idea of working together and working towards something, and we had a vague idea of, well, we had a very clear idea of what we were working on, but we weren't able to pull all the pieces together. So it seemed that it was a bit chaotic, but there was a purpose. We were moving towards a collective purpose, and I see us as a humanity moving towards this beautiful world that we get to create in our minds and our hearts, and then we allow that vision, that image, that beautiful world that we're envisioning to pull us forward, because that which we have in mind, that which we can cultivate in our imagination, can actually inspire us. It's as though it's a mirror for us, and as we keep it in mind and we think thoughts and speak words and feel emotions and take actions towards that outcome, that puzzle picture, that beautiful vision, then we move in a graceful way towards it. So that is understanding. Then the next word in unity, I've taken the N, and it stands for newness, the quality of being new or original or different. And again, from that beautiful poem of Amanda's, she said, so we lift our gazes, not to what stands between us, but what stands before us. So we vision what stands before us, not what stands between us. So we, in essence, instead of looking at each other and saying, you're different and I don't agree with you, we have very different visions, we pivot. Imagine pivoting. Instead of facing each other, now we face forward. We pivot to face forward and see what stands before us, what is possible. She goes on to say, when day comes, we step out of the shade, aflame and unafraid. A new dawn blooms as we free it, for there is always light If only we are brave enough to see it. If only we are brave enough to be it. So that is the question. Are you brave enough to be the light, even in the face of being with others that you might not agree with, you might not even like? Are you willing to cultivate a tolerance, an appreciation for each other's uniqueness and difference, and see the newness that together, if we loosen our distraction, if we pivot to turn and focus on that which is before us, so we get to be brave enough to embrace the light, that which is before us, and we get the opportunity to be brave enough to be it. Are you brave enough to be your most magnificent self? Are you brave enough to bring forth the light, the spark, that ineffable something that is within you, that you came here on planet Earth to reveal to yourself first and foremost, and then to the world? Because you have to be it first before you see it reflected back to you. So that's newness. The next letter in the word unity is I. And I've taken the word interdependence. I love this notion of interdependence. And many of us on our spiritual path have embraced the notion of oneness, that we're all one. There's only one thing happening, one life, one power, one presence, one infinite organizing intelligence. Call it God, call it Goddess, call it whatever you might. There is an interdependence that we become aware of when we realize that there's only one. We all depend on each other, and we're all affected by each other, because what one person does or thinks or says, or how one responds, affects everything else. We chart a new course with each and every decision we make. So in that way, we affect everything. Every day is an opportunity to take a look at what we're doing, how we're thinking, the choices we make, the conversations we have, how we respond or react. All of that affects everything else. So when we have this awareness of interdependence, then we're more mindful about what we think, what we say, how we feel, and what we do. And from Amanda Gorman, we close the divide because we know to put our future first. We must first put our differences aside. We lay down our arms so we can reach out our arms. So we can reach out our arms to one another. So just imagine reaching out your arms to one another. And whilst we might not be putting down arms, weapons per se, we put down our anger, we put down our judgment, we put down our criticism, we put down comparing ourselves to other, we put down all of that which stands in the way of us truly connecting, truly being curious about each other, taking the time to truly see and witness each other just as we are, perfectly imperfect. Perfectly imperfect. And in this way, as we reach out to one another, we begin to soften into the fact that we are a team. We are a humanity. And if we can embrace and accept each other, we can dream together, dream a more beautiful world that meets everybody's needs. Not their ego structure's needs, but their heart's needs. So it goes on to say, in regards to interdependence, there's a compassion that starts to blossom when we realize that we're all one. Amanda goes on to say that even as we have grieved, we grew. Even as we hurt, we hoped. Even as we tried, we tired, we tried. So what this is saying is we've grieved, we've hurt, we've tried, and it sometimes has felt really challenging that things haven't worked. But we grew, we hoped, we tried. Even though we grieved, we hurt, and we tired. So there's something interconnected about understanding this, that we've been in this amazing uphill climb together, and when we realize that it's not just us that's experiencing challenge, we've all been experiencing challenges. We've experienced loss and trauma. We've lost friends. We've experienced people losing their lives. We've lost our jobs. Many of us have changed our family dynamics. We haven't been able to travel and do the things we like. There's been a lot that we've experienced, and this, instead of separating us, this really, the awareness of this brings us together. The next letter in unity is T, and I've taken the word transcendence, to rise above our current paradigm, our current situation. Amanda Gorman says in her poem, how could catastrophe possibly prevail over us? We will not march back to see what was, but move forward to what shall be. We're moving forward. We're on a trajectory, moving forward to that which our heart knows is possible, that more beautiful world that we're creating together, that we're dreaming together. We're transcending what was. We're resisting the temptation to look at the past and say, well, we can't create a beautiful tomorrow because look what happened. Look what those people did. Look what those people aren't doing. And we start to look outside of ourselves, look back at the past. And when we're looking at the past, we're unable to see the tomorrow. So we resist creating from the burdens of the past. Are you willing to be the person you want to be, unburdened by your past? We know, this is the poem, we know our inaction and inertia will be the inheritance of the next generation. Our blunders become their burdens. So if we don't clean up our act, if we keep processing and from what's happened in the past, when we keep staying stuck in the old stories, in the old paradigm, then we're unwilling to grow and go forward, and we bring that unhealed part of our nature, that part of us that's bitter, that feels victimized, that's not willing to change, that's stuck pointing fingers at each other, that has a lot of self-hatred or loathing or whatever you're doing that feels below the line, that feels like is dragging you down. That is what I'm determining as the blunders. When we can be released from those, we're not burdening our future or our descendants. We're not bringing that forward into our world, into our life, and into our family. We have to resist the temptation to not dream. We have to resist the temptation to not change, because doing nothing has a cost. And the price we will pay personally and collectively will be our happiness and our freedom. That is the price we will pay and will become the burdens of our descendants. So let us move forward. And the last letter in the word unity is yield. That's the word I've chosen. And yield is about produce. It's about producing something, manifesting, offering something. What have you yielded? What is your life? That is your yield. So, and this is a quote by Paulo Coelho, the beautiful, beautiful author. Maybe the journey isn't so much about becoming anything. Maybe it's about unbecoming everything that isn't really you, so that you become who you were meant to be in the first place. Who you were meant to be in the first place. So it's about what we yield, what we bring forth through our vehicle, through the instrument of our life, through the faculty of our mind, through the words that we speak, through the light that we shine. We are here to bring forth the queendom, the kingdom of heaven. And we do that by feeling unity, by having a deeper understanding of one another, by seeing the newness that is possible as we step forward and vision and dream together, understanding that there's an interdependence, an interrelatedness, an interconnection that occurs. And when we come together and move, when we pivot to, instead of standing facing and opposing each other, but we stand together shoulder to shoulder and vision and dream a beautiful new world, then we transcend the old paradigm. We transcend the old paradigm and we stay focused on what we're creating. We have the ability to be powerfully creative in our thoughts, and thoughts yield, thoughts manifest a more beautiful world. Everything starts with consciousness. You develop your consciousness and expand your consciousness by meditating, by praying, by coming together in spiritual community, by reading sacred texts, by doing the deep inner work, by forgiving, releasing the past, loving yourself as never before. The answer is unity. Unity, unity, unity. Understanding our diversity and our differences, honoring our divinity, our personal divinity and our collective divinity, namaste, and holding the high watch for what is possible. So are you willing to hold the high watch that is possible? So let's take a moment to close the outer eyes, place the hand on the heart, and listen and repeat these words so we can anchor them in, integrate, actualize these beautiful new awarenesses that are bubbling up today through this download. So I help myself by being myself. Let's listen and say that together. I help myself by being myself. One more time. I help myself by being myself. Just realize that, feel what it's like. Just saying that out loud, feeling it in your heart, the expansiveness of actually being yourself, not your ego structure self, but your beautiful, loving, light self, the self you were born to be, the self that you were born to create. Everything that's occurred up to this point in your life has helped you take off those rough edges, those challenges, those disappointments. All of that has been fuel for you to become the light that you're here to be, for the life that you're here to create. So listen and repeat. I occupy my divinity and heal humanity. Let's say that together. I occupy my divinity and heal humanity. Nice. Let's go into prayer. Realizing right here and right now, the one power, the one presence, the one infinite organizing intelligence that is never in absence, so loving, so generous, so creative, so giving, so abundant. Just breathe it in right now. Feel how the universe has your back. Feel how Mother, Father, God loves you right now. Feel this unique opportunity to bring forth the light, to bring forth the life as only you can. As only you can, as each of us know who we are in truth, what we are in truth, how we are here to serve in truth. We are free, we are free, we are free. We are free to be whomever we desire to be. We are here to create a life together, whatever that might look like and feel like. Just imagine it now, a life of love and light and meaning and beauty and creativity and passion. Feel it bubbling up. Feel images and see images and get a sense of what's possible right now. We are here to become our most magnificent self, and it's happening right now. Feel it, see it, be it. And let's give thanks for all that is coming into manifestation, all that we are yielding, all that we are transcending. Say thank you to the past, all that has been, the old paradigm, and say thank you, new paradigm. Thank you, new abilities, new insights. Thank you for the willingness, the openness. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And let's say thank you to all those essential workers, those doctors and nurses, all of the technology that is supporting those that are suffering and struggling with COVID-19, struggling and suffering in ways that are known and unknown, all those that are hungry, that all those that are feeling sad and close to the edge. Let us send a great big virtual loving hug to all of those that need an extra hand out and a hand up today. Let us give thanks to all the two-leggeds, four-leggeds, winged, finned, hooved, creepy crawlers, to the stone people, the tree people, the plant people, to earth, water, wind, fire, ether. Thank you. We're all a part of this one amazing happening. Thank you to Grandma the Moon, Father Sky, Grandfather Sun, and the great star nations, to the great mystery and beyond. And let us take our place right here and now, loving ourselves, honoring each other. Peace and blessings to all. Thank you. Namaste. I'd love to hear from you. What happened during that talk, during this activation? I'd love to hear your comment or put a heart in the chat. And if you're watching this as a replay, go ahead and place your comments in your hearts. We'll be posting this on YouTube in a few minutes. And so if you're joining us on YouTube, thank you and welcome. Blessings abound. I love you. If you'd like some support by one of our conscious living practitioners, go ahead and instant message me on Facebook or Instagram or in the chat here, and one of our practitioners will be getting back to you, because we are here for you. When you forget what your heart knows, when you forget, we want to sit with you and stand with you and help you remember what your spirit, what your heart, what your soul already knows. So thank you for being here. Let's see. We've got some comments. Rhonda, I felt a rush of loving energy flow over my entire body. Yes, yes. That's what it feels like when you're in that flow. That's what it feels like when you're remembering truth. That's what it feels like when your mind and your heart are aligned and you're communicating with the universe. There's a rush of energy, a flow of energy. I love you too, Carol, and that beautiful granddaughter of yours. So what are you feeling? What's coming up for you? Maybe you don't feel so great. Maybe you're still in a constricted place. It's not always peaches and cream. So whatever it is, share with us. Love to you, Rhonda. Love to you, everyone. So we'll wait for a couple minutes. I'm going to play this beautiful song again that our wonderful Leslie created just for us as we say goodbye. Love you. Peace and blessings. Big hugs.
Free my mind, open my heart with the whispers of truth. To live a conscious life, to live a conscious life on the growing edge. On the growing edge.
Thank you, Leslie. Thank you, Pam. Love you. Namaste, everyone.